Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our YNR chat for Sunday, November 4th, 2012. I hope that all of my YNR friends are safe and sound. There was this huge hurricane that hit the east coast of the United States. Tons of damage, tons of devastation, and I know that a lot of people are still without power, and I really hope everyone is okay and that you all got to watch YNR this week. If not, I'm gonna try to do my best to recap it in as much detail as possible. It was a pretty good week. The struggle for control of Newman Enterprises continues, and Victor is getting pretty good at pretending that he has stepped away, that he's not going to fight for Newman Enterprises, but really he's just pulling the strings from the sidelines. And his attitude toward Nick is really bothering me. It's just totally getting on my nerves right now because, Victor, you can't tell Nick that he's free to choose what he wants to do, whether or not he wants to fight for the company, and then be disappointed in him when he doesn't do what you want him to do. It's so selfish, and it's so classic Victor. It's as if he's learned nothing. Big surprise. He wants to preach to Jack and Adam and anyone else that he can about how these business rivalries are ruining their relationships, and then he treats Nick like he's a loser for choosing to spend time with his family, for choosing to pursue having a personal life, for choosing to stay out of the drama. It's talking out of both sides of his mouth. It's completely annoying. And by the way, just because Victoria has decided to do your bidding does not make her a better daughter. It's as if Victoria has become the golden child now because she's choosing to fight for Newman Enterprises, and look where it's gotten her. Victoria's in deep, and we'll get to that more in detail in a little bit, but I mean, just the obvious part, her relationship with Billy is always rocky. There's always problems between them. It's as if they're constantly trying, it's as if they're always just made of paper, and at any moment their entire relationship could just break apart. And now they're both being put into a position where things could be so easily be made worse. And I'm tired of Victoria bullying Billy. I feel like she's bullied him into this position where he has to go undercover and take a position at Newman Enterprises to get information from the inside on Jack, while she does what she can on the sideline to get the company back for her family. And I feel like Victoria is always making the point to Billy that he needs to do this for her, like this is something that he owes to their little family, and I resent that. I feel that she's using him for her own purposes and really throwing the family thing in his face, and it bothers me. Billy, do you remember when Billy used to be fun? He's not even funny anymore. Every year, Billy used to throw a Halloween party. Where was Billy's Halloween party this year? It's so indicative. Halloween was barely existent this year. I think Eden had on a pair of kitty ears, or were they, maybe they were horns. I don't know. She had on some sort of Halloween implied costume that was completely half-assed, and there was a bucket of Halloween candy at Crimson Lights. That was nearly the only acknowledgement that it was Halloween, and usually it's a big bash. It's fun. Usually we get to see costumes and stuff, and that just wasn't here this year. Instead of having fun and enjoying his life, Billy is right between a rock and a hard place at Victoria's insistence. And Billy wanted out. He wanted to be done with this. He's lying to his brother infiltrating the, Newman Enterprises for his wife. He feels torn between the two sides of his family, and he wants to be done with it. He totally tried to bow out of the whole deal this week, and as soon as Victor catches wind of that, he cannot have it. Victor goes straight to Billy and pretty much blackmails him to keep helping. He says, you know how, you knew that whole time that I had amnesia in California and you didn't tell anyone. And remember how I had that change of heart and I was not going to tell anyone that you did that because you make my daughter so happy? Well, never mind. I'm going back on that now. And if you don't do what I want you to do, then I'm going to tell her. So much for Victor's reformation. There it is right there in plain view. So much for the new day in Billy and Victor's relationship. You almost had to know it. The second Billy didn't do something that Victor liked, bam, there was the blackmail. I'm tired of Victor saying that he wants peace and he wants everyone to focus on their personal relationships, and then as soon as someone doesn't follow his lip service, it's hammer coming down. Basically, Victor just gets to sit back being Mr. Zen while everyone else does the dirty work for him. So, Jack is continuing to procrastinate on the bullet that's lodged in his spine. He is in pain every time he turns around. It's and finally the pain becomes so bad this week that he collapses in his office, and luckily Phyllis finds him and is really riding his ass to get to the hospital and to find out what's up with this and to not ignore it. And Jack gets an appointment with the doctor who tells him he needs to have the bullet removed. It should have been removed before. And to boot, it is a very dangerous operation. It's something that could become fatal. And it's clearly something that Jack does not want to do, but if he doesn't do it, he could risk paralysis. He's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. But Phyllis convinces him to follow the doctor's advice and go through with this potentially life-threatening operation, but Jack could barely peel himself away from his desk at Newman Enterprises. That's all he cares about. He's got this weird tunnel vision when it comes to Newman. That's the only thing that matters to him. And earlier in the week, Adam approached Jack and pretty much straight up asked to be the new CFO of Newman Enterprises. I don't know if Jack had to fire somebody to make that happen or what. Some poor guy just probably lost his job so that Jack could stick it to Victor even further, because Adam was telling him all the right things, saying about what an asset he could be to the company, and Jack was saying, yeah, I hear that, but I just don't think it's a good idea. And then Adam comes in and throws out the information, well, it would really stick it to Victor even more. And then Jack's like, yep, that's it. Absolutely, you're hired. It really appealed to Jack wanting, Jack's desire to constantly one-up Victor, and now he's hired Victor's black sheep son to work at the company, and that should really get under Victor's skin. So Adam is the new CFO, and furthermore, while Jack has to be away having this dangerous operation, Jack appoints Adam as acting CEO in his absence, to which, by the way, Phyllis threw a fit like a little girl, like her daughter in a way. She is being such a child this week, finding out that Adam has some level of control over Jack's company. I get that Phyllis cares about Jack, and I get that Phyllis needs this job to focus on right now, but she's getting herself all worked up. It's Jack's decision. If Jack decides to hire Adam, let him. It doesn't have to affect you. What is she anyway, a marketing VP or something? It's not even that high up of a position. She's gonna have to work with Adam sometimes, but just go do your job and wait until Jack gets back. I don't see how much damage Adam could possibly do. For whatever you want to say about Adam, he is a very competent businessman, and I think that he will still do a good job. I don't think unless there's going to be some huge twist and Adam is actually deciding to work on the side of his father, which I doubt. I can't see that Adam can do any damage, but at the same time, I do enjoy Phyllis versus Adam. They're both hams. Both of the actors, I think, are hams. They really enjoy stealing the scene, and so having them both in the same scene is just them trying to one-up each other. I think there was a moment where Adam was like, red, 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 and Phyllis turns around and she says, Junior, Junior, Junior. It's just, they clearly have a fun little rivalry, but I think that Jack didn't want to trust Adam. I don't think he wanted to pick Adam, but there wasn't a whole lot of options. I'm sure that he did it mainly because he knew that he couldn't count on his brother, that he couldn't count on Billy. It turns out that Jack was setting up Billy this entire time to see if he would run back and give Victoria information. So essentially, Jack fed information to Billy, counting on it getting back to Victoria, and that's exactly what it did. I mean, essentially there was some networking that needed to be done in Miami. This is what Jack tells Billy, and Billy tells Victoria, so she heads on down to Miami to try to garner for some support against Jack, hopefully get stockholders against Jack and turn everything around. But it was a complete waste of time because it was all a setup by Jack, and at the end of the day, Jack confronted Billy and fired him, which was completely justified. I mean, he was right to fire him, but it was just too bad that it had to come to that because Jack was, I think, betrayed in a business sense, but I think he could have handled that. If it was just somebody trying to pull a fast business move on him, that would have been one thing. The fact that it was his brother and the fact that there was personal lies in there is what really killed him, and I think it just really, it broke Jack's heart. But although the kicker was that Billy let slip that Victor was trying to push Billy in to the inside. And Jack realizes that, wait a minute, not only were you betraying me, but Victor knew about it? You were on Victor's side? That's what killed him. I think that hurt Jack's pride more than anything. That was just the cherry on top of the cake. And so there was this great confrontation scene between Jack and Billy, and you expected Jack to be mad, but Billy actually exploded back at Jack, and I guess I wasn't expecting that, because Billy has this way of putting his tail between his legs when he's gotten caught doing something, and he's just like, okay, he just runs off and kicks rocks. And this time Billy really let Jack have it back, and he said, you know, you are putting winning above everything else when at the same time you're talking out of the side of your mouth about the importance of family. And it was true. Billy Miller was awesome this week. I really liked that he just laid it flat out to Jack in such a just a true way. I think that it's crazy that Victor and Jack are so much more alike than either of them would ever realize or even admit to. It's the same thing going on both sides, so I can't even pick a side. It's the same thing. But Billy tries to still be a good brother to Jack. Even though they've had this fight, Billy wants to support his brother. Phyllis lets slip about the surgery. Jack wasn't even going to tell Billy. And Billy decides to go to the hospital and surprise Jack after this huge argument. And he really tried to reach out and be there for him. And Jack sent him away. Jack said, I don't want you here. He was in a particularly dark place. Jack, as much as this is kind of, as surgery is happening quickly, he is facing death. This is a particularly dangerous procedure that's about to have done, and it could end very poorly. Even if he doesn't die, he could certainly still be back in the wheelchair. Jack feels as if he's gotten everything that he's wanted, and now he's back to square one. So it was, you know, Jack being very dark, sent Billy away, told him he doesn't want him there. I wish that Billy would have stayed. I just thought that would have been such a goodwill gesture from Billy. I think he should have just pushed on and forced Jack to deal with him, stay there and tell him horrible jokes and just, you know, be there as a brother and try to put the business thing aside. But instead, Billy walked away and he calls Victoria on the phone and he tells her that the whole thing was a setup. There's no business to be done in Miami. Just come home. And just as Victoria is leaving the hotel, she turns around to lock the door behind her, and someone with a black glove puts their hand over her mouth and snatches her. And it looks like, from the previews of next week's show, that they're going to hold her hostage? What? Where did this come from? I was surprised by that little twist. I don't know who it could be. Who do you think it could be? Who would have the motive to kidnap Victoria? I know that Jack set that whole meeting up. He's the one that kind of pushed her toward going to Miami. But, I mean, even though Jack is in a really dark place, I don't think that he would arrange to have Victoria kidnapped, so who else could it be? I don't know. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Victor himself. Adam is on real thin ice with all of his lies. He's standing in the living room of his house with Chelsea this week telling her more lies when Kevin and Chloe knock on the door and bust in asking where he is, where he's been. They have tag and grab to worry about. And by the way, Adam has been using Kevin as an excuse. He's been telling Chelsea that he's had meetings with Kevin, and now all of a sudden Kevin's busted in saying, "Where have you been? You're not returning our phone calls." Red flag. But Adam he is really being such a brat this week. Kevin and Chloe just need to talk to their partner, and things get heated, and Adam decides to dissolve their partnership. Just like a spoiled kid who isn't winning at his game and doesn't want to just play anymore. Like, I'm gonna take my ball and I'm gonna go home. Just quits. Which is a total jerk move. He leaves Kevin and Chloe in a major bind with tag and snooze. They have no money now, no partner, and they either have to buy Adam out or just call it quits. This is their dream. This is something that they've created out of nothing, and now it's in major jeopardy, all because they decided to get involved with Kevin, or with Adam, with Adam. And Kevin is being really, really down on himself. He is very, everything I do turns out to be bad. I'm in this bind, and how am I gonna get myself out of it? Nothing ever works out for Kevin Fisher. Being just a real whiny baby. I'm so annoyed with Kevin right now, and I've been annoyed with him. But the thing that set me over the top was that he's in a bind. Essentially, he needs money. Who does he call? Michael. Oh, suddenly everything's okay with Michael now. I get it. Okay. So, you need help, Kevin. And so now Michael is a good enough brother to you. Because, I'm just back up a couple weeks, I seem to remember you telling Michael that, quote, he was just like terrible Tom. Didn't support you. And now all of a sudden, you're in trouble. And who do you call? Michael. Oh, well, really? Kevin is grating on my last nerve. There's nothing I even like about him right now. But as far as this tag and grab situation is going, Chloe is the one who convinced Kevin, against his better judgment, to become involved with Adam, to bring Adam in as a partner, so she should be the one scrambling to fix it. And she is trying. Chloe actually sensed that there was a little bit of sensitivity from Chelsea. When Adam dissolved his ties to tag and grab, Chelsea was in the background going, really, Adam? You don't have to do this. There's no reason why you can't work it out. Or you could kind of tell. So Chloe goes to Chelsea and starts just befriending her, which is good. I'm actually enjoying that because, let's face it, Chelsea needs a friend. Chelsea needs a life. Chelsea needs a personality, okay? She needs something that's gonna tell us who she is. Because, frankly, at this point, I don't know anything about her other than that she's supposedly a con woman. That's it. There's nothing. She's so one-dimensional. And when the girls are talking, which was actually really enjoyable, Chloe suggests that, hey, Chelsea, you're the one that came up with the name Tag and Grab. You're very familiar with what's going on. Why don't you take Adam's place? That'll make everybody happy. Chloe and Kevin don't have to scramble for a partner. Adam doesn't have to work with them anymore. And Chelsea has something to do, which is, she needs it. Like, I just think Chelsea has got to have something to hold on to, and this made sense. So the girls are really excited about this idea. They call Kevin over, and then Adam walks in on them as they're kind of tossing around the idea, and Adam is not having it right off the bat. He has already told Kevin and Chloe he doesn't want to have anything to do with them, and he expects that his wife isn't going to either. And Adam actually scolded Chelsea right in front of Chloe and Kevin, which was so rude. I felt like, he said, I can't believe you haven't, I would expect my wife to discuss this with me first, right in front of them. And I just really felt for Chelsea because he humiliated her in front of Kevin and Chloe. And I don't understand why he took such a hardline position on that, because Adam's got a job. He's got a new job. All of a sudden, he has something new in his life. And by the way, that job at Newman Enterprises is a high-level position that's going to take him away from the house a lot. I mean, they have been doing nothing for the last several months except for playing smooch, 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 smoochy face all over Genoa City. No jobs, just living a life of leisure. Now, all of a sudden, he is at the head of a major multinational corporation. He's going to have tons of work, tons of new responsibility. He didn't discuss that with her. But no, she can't have a job. She can't have something to do. It's so funny because, Adam lying and just in general not being nice to Chelsea is really transferring my feelings, my feelings of goodwill, the ones that, my liking of Adam has somewhat transferred onto Chelsea as he's become meaner to her, because it's my personality. The quickest way to get me to like someone is to make them an underdog. And every time Adam holds Chelsea down a little bit or lies to her a little bit, it actually does make me like her a little bit more. I just want her to get a life. I really do. And I think that I could start to like her if she would get a life, but at first when Adam told her, he shot down her idea that she was all excited about, and at first she was mad at him. She stormed off and ran upstairs, but then later she came back down, and rather than continuing the fight for herself, for her life, she just kind of gave up on herself. And she said, you're right, it wouldn't have made sense. I only have a GED, so I probably wouldn't have done good in that position anyway. Wah, wah. Everybody in this situation are a bunch of whiny babies. They're all just poor me, meh. I guess I shouldn't expect anything else from Chelsea, but I know it's his money. I understand that it's Adam's money, and if he wants out of this investment, he has a right to get out of his investment, but I don't see why he couldn't have just given her a chance on that. Why not give her a chance? It's not about what your degree is. It's about what your passion is, and she even said to him, Adam, I need this. And he didn't care. He just still said no. It bugs me. It bugs me that he's gotten like this. Chelsea had to go to Chloe and tell her that it's not going to work out. Like, my husband said no, so I guess I can't have that job. I can't do it. Like, when did Adam become Victor? When did Adam become this domineering husband that won't let his woman do what she needs to do? I just, I don't know. I mean, it ended up kind of working out okay, because then Chloe, who is like genuinely becoming Chelsea's friend now, and I'm enjoying that, Chloe said to Chelsea, all right, so that's not going to work out. We need to get you an interest. We need to get you a personality. We need no more vanilla Chelsea. We need to have you discover who you are and what type of job you might like to have. And they started talking about the fashion and the design world, and what do you know? Chelsea knows how to make clothes, and it's been a long time ago, but she brings Chloe back to the house, shows her some picture of some things that she's made, and Chloe did a good job of getting Chelsea all pumped up for her designs. Like, oh yeah, I could do this. I could make some clothes, and I could start off just in one of the spare bedrooms, and then as my business grows, I could, you know, get a workspace. And oh, wait a minute, I just remembered, we have a cottage on the property. I could use that as my workspace. Oh, Chelsea. I'm so sorry, girl. Because Chelsea and Chloe are like, oh yeah, let's go see that cottage. They go walk down to the cottage where Sharon is staying. And Sharon manages to get out, like to dodge out before anyone sees her. She gets out of the house while Chelsea's fumbling for the keys. But Chelsea finds Sharon's bag and everything that's in it. You know, makeup, clothes, and it's not cheap stuff. It's expensive stuff. Chelsea's not stupid. She knows right away. It seems like someone's living here, and I want to know what it is. It can't just be a squatter. The door is locked. She realizes that Adam has been being shady since she lost the baby, and now there's magically some rich woman staying in the cottage? So Chelsea confronts Adam about it. Finally, she confronts Adam about it. And like, I don't know why Adam didn't just confess. He basically tells her, okay, yeah, there's somebody living down there, but I can't tell you who, and I can't tell you why, and expects that that's going to be a good enough answer. Like, tell me, give me one good reason why Adam couldn't tell Chelsea about Sharon staying there if his intentions with Sharon are pure. He's hiding it, and that in and of itself makes me think that there's more to it. There's more to what's going on between Adam and Sharon. It's not just helping her out. Chelsea, if Chelsea is truly Adam's partner, there's no reason why he couldn't tell her. So she doesn't get any answers from him, runs down to the cottage. I don't even know why he wouldn't have stopped her. She just runs down to the cottage to check it out, and Sharon may have been able to dodge Chelsea the first time, but she was not able to dodge Chelsea the second time. Chelsea flings open the door of the cottage and beholds Sharon standing there in all of her unglory. And it's it's immediately in Chelsea's mind, that's Adam's ex-wife. Adam has his ex-wife staying on our property. To her, it just had to look immediately like this whole thing was all set up like a love affair nest that's happening right under her nose. It's truly terrible. I felt Chelsea so much like I felt like I was in her shoes, like it was wrong. Humiliate me once, Adam. Shame on you. Humiliate me twice, and I will rip your balls off. before Adam got caught this week, he and Sharon actually had a heart-to-heart conversation where he revealed to her that he feels guilty for what has become of her, that he feels responsible for the situation that she's in now, but I don't know if I believe that, because Adam wasn't helping Sharon before when she needed him. Why now? Like, I mean, when everything was going down with her marriage to Victor and her takeover of Newman Enterprises, Adam went to Sharon and he actually said to her, when this all goes to hell, don't come to me. I'm not going to help you. So why now? Why is he so concerned about helping her now? Conveniently after Chelsea just lost the baby. I question his motives. Last week, where we left off, Adam was down at the cottage with Sharon while Chelsea was putting together this special little dinner for them. Adam finally gets back up to his wife at his house, and the dessert was all melted that she'd made for him, and the candles had already been blown out. Another in a series of disappointments that Chelsea has had in him. And Adam just lies about where he was, that he was off getting her something special to eat, and then he has sex with her, and everything is fine again for the moment. I think that Adam loves Chelsea. I really do. He told Sharon that this week. He said, I love her. It's not about us. But, again, if Adam's relationship with Sharon is completely innocent, then why wouldn't he confide in his wife, his partner, his equal? Sorry, it doesn't make sense. And here's the other thing, Adam. I don't see how keeping Sharon in this cottage is helping her at all. Like, she's clearly losing her mind. He's trying to get her a psychiatrist's help. She's alone, caged up, doing this weird, obsessive reorganizing of the room. Like, I can't get the couch where it needs to be, or the chair. It's not right. It's not right. I don't know what she's trying to recreate. Her house, Victor's house. I don't know. She's trying to recreate some part in her life when she wasn't completely screwed up, but she's having still hallucinations about the night of the fire. She's extremely paranoid. Some trick-or-treaters showed up on the property, and she opened the door, saw him standing there, and then slammed it in their face. The poor kids were like, "Tricker!" Aww. She's clearly out of her mind. She is just lighting matches and slowly watching them burn. What the hell? Like, she's couldn't even be worse off. My God, I thought it couldn't get worse, and it keeps getting worse. And being alone in this cottage that's more like a prison, more like a cage, is like the worst possible thing for her right now. She's going stir crazy, and Adam is going to these extreme lengths to help her, in quotes, and he's just making things worse. Adam actually goes and hires a thug to go start a similar fire to try to make it look like someone else could have done it. He goes to this thug and he tells him, yeah, just start a fire in one of the buildings. I don't care which. I'm assuming it's probably going to be like another fire at the ranch, or a fire at Newman Enterprises, or maybe a warehouse, or like a warehouse that they have or something. But he told him to use tequila and leave the bottle behind to make it look like it was the same kind of fire that happened at the ranch. And then he's probably going to conveniently try to give Sharon an alibi while that's going down. But my God, that's extreme. That is an extreme measure to go to for someone who you're supposedly not in love with. Like, it's now that it's all coming out and I'm thinking about it more, why can't Sharon just say that she was at home asleep the night of the fire? No one could prove that she did anything. I mean, I'm sure that they would all still be suspicious of her, but nobody would be able to prove it. And instead of just going with that simple explanation, Adam has created this elaborate excuse, frankly, to keep her near him. To keep her right where he wants her. Maybe just in case. I don't know. But Sharon, I don't know. Sharon keeps, sneaking up to the main house and making phone calls to either him or to Noah, and she keeps almost getting caught by Chelsea. And Adam has to know that Chelsea's gonna catch on to this sooner or later. Sharon is such a loose cannon that I don't know why he would invite that into his life unless he wanted to get caught. Because keeping her away is just making her look more and more guilty. Now she's off on this random sabbatical and nobody knows where she is. It's just making her look more guilty. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Unless you like playing with fire too. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. They both, Sharon and Adam, seem to like playing with fire right now. So the arson report came back. And it shows that the fire at the ranch was intentional. It was done on purpose. And as soon as Nikki hears that, she was immediately like, it was Sharon. Does anybody know where Sharon was the night of the fire? Sharon is an obvious suspect for having lit the fire. Who else would do it? She's been scorned, and now she wanted to scorn them. Nikki guessed it right away. And out of all the things Sharon needs to be worried about, she might need to be worried about Nikki the most. Nikki is still going through the rubble of the ranch, looking for clues and pulling out photo albums and stuff that survived, and crying and feeling horrible about what happened with the ranch. And Nikki is so upset about this. And if it's Sharon, Sharon better beware. Nikki would, skin her alive. And, Nick and Noah are wondering where the heck she is. All of a sudden, she's gone. They found a smoky sweater in her house. It smells like smoke, like she went to a bonfire. Or possibly that she burned down the ranch. They start to put two and two together that it could have been her. They hope that it wasn't her, but it certainly could have been. And there seems to be a little side storyline we're just getting hints of, that Noah is involved with someone. He's taking phone calls off on the side here and there. He got a text message from someone this week. It didn't say who it was. That it said something like, "I miss you." And Noah called the person back and said, "I don't know if this was meant to be for me, but I missed you too." I just wonder, are they going to be bringing somebody on for Noah, a love interest? Could it be that Noah is actually going to get a storyline? So the Samantha impersonator calls Genevieve this week and tells her that she's willing to spill everything, tell her everything about who's behind this impersonation, this whole charade, and in exchange she wants money. Stop by the bank and then meet me at the athletic club in my room. Now Tucker overhears this entire conversation happening, and he follows Genevieve to the club. Genevieve goes up to the room where the woman is staying, and instead of finding her, she finds that the woman is gone. There is blood on the floor, and later revealed that Genevieve's handkerchief is on the floor, and then Ronan ends up finding a dead body not too far from the club that is assumed to be the woman. Obvious setup, clearly, unless not. I don't think Genevieve would be stupid enough to drop her handkerchief at a crime scene after she just killed a woman. I think it's an obvious setup, and I think it would be obvious to say that Tucker is behind it. Just there's a part of me that thinks that that's too easy. I could see Tucker setting up this situation to try to get Genevieve out of town, to get her to leave, but it just, I don't know. It seems too obvious, and even thinking that Colin is setting her up seems too obvious. Ronan is on this case. Genevieve has been trying to convince Ronan that something's going on with Colin, and as soon as Ronan sees the crime scene and the handkerchief there, he immediately starts to suspect Genevieve. You know, part of me said, I almost wonder if this whole thing is a setup just to kind of flesh out her money. Because when the woman on the phone told her to stop by the bank, and Ronan was actually present for that scene too when Genevieve was taking the phone call, I thought, I wonder if they're just trying to set up a scenario where Genevieve has to reveal that she has more money than she is admitting, because she had to give up all of her money that she had gotten from Colin, and now she's magically got money to pay off a blackmailer. So I kind of thought, well, what if that's a setup? But I just don't know, because now it has turned into this murder scenario. Ronan is really hard pressed on her to not leave town, and you're behind this, I'm sure you're behind this, which is more ridiculousness that Ronan is the main crime scene investigator. Look, if Ronan is GCPD, then so be it. But he's FBI, and FBI has no business being on this crime scene. It's so stupid that they keep forcing Ronan into these crime storylines when in reality he would not have anything to do with that. He has no jurisdiction there. If you want to switch Ronan's character around, fire him from the FBI and give him a job on the police force, then do it. But stop this. Just, I'm sick of crime, and I'm sick of Ronan being involved in it. The whole thing is just annoying to me. And the whole thing is clearly just intended to usher Genevieve off the scene, as we all know that Jeannie Francis was let go. So Genevieve becomes desperate, and she knows that it looks like she's going to have this crime pinned on her. So Tucker gives her money to flee. Says, here, take some cash and get out of town. That's what you need to do. I wish Tucker would leave town too, frankly, but he didn't. He just gave her money, and Genevieve grabs her suitcases and makes her exit from the landscape forever. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Tucker did it? Or I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. But Genevieve is gone. No more Genevieve on the show. And almost on the other end of the revolving door, like at the same time, look who's back. Jess Walton has returned as Jill. I'm pretty excited about that. It was literally like Genevieve goes out the revolving door and Jill comes in. Well, not literally, but it was almost like that. So Jill is back on the scene, which is excellent. Tucker had called Jill earlier in the week. Of course, it wasn't revealed that it was her. It was kind of just an allude. It alluded to Tucker calling Jill, but he called her essentially when he heard that Catherine is planning to take back over Chancellor, and then he calls someone, turns out to be Jill, on the other line saying, oh, you better get back here, Catherine's about to make a big mistake. So I'm sure that Jill is going to be involved in another, Catherine storyline, a Chancellor Industries storyline, but at the same time, Jill has been in Australia all this time with Philip, supposedly on his, I think he was having knee surgery or something. But I can't help but notice that, or think that, Australia is where Colin is. And I just think, if Colin is behind the Genevieve setup, as Genevieve thinks that he is, and everyone, seems to think that he is it at all possible that Jill could have been working with him? Phyllis and Nick's divorce should be finalized any day now, you would think. I don't know, but Phyllis has pretty much become a free agent, and she's not getting involved with Ronan. It seems that Ronan is around every corner practically stalking Phyllis, and Phyllis just keeps blowing him off. And not in a good way. In a bad way. He really, really wants to get involved with her, but Phyllis is still clearly hung up on Nick. I mean, Ronan and Phyllis are having lunch or something at the athletic club, and the entire time she could barely pay attention to him. She had her eyes on what was going on with Nick and with Jack and anything else. She has hot sex with Ronan, but there's no relationship potential there. I know that makes some fans very disappointed, and I agree that they have sexual chemistry, but I don't know. It just kind of seems like YNR is trying to dissolve that. I almost think that if Phyllis doesn't get back involved with Nick, that Jack is going to be her number two. She's very involved in Jack's life right now, and her involvement with Ronan, unfortunately for her, has caused her nothing but trouble. Of course, it got her out of a crime, but it still caused a lot of problems in her personal life because Summer hates her. And Ronan and Phyllis actually ran into Summer at the athletic club. Summer saw them having lunch together, and Summer gave them her blessing. She said, yeah, if you guys want to date or whatever you want to do, get married, that's fine with me. But no one believes it. There was just something shady about Summer where she's clearly up to something and paying them lip service. And both Phyllis and Ronan immediately said, do you buy that? Do you think that's true? No, nobody believes it. And Summer clearly has it out for Ronan. She is interested in this kid that Ronan keeps hanging around with, and I'm interested too. Apparently, I mean, the kid confirmed that he was part of some kind of program. I'm guessing he's a juvenile delinquent, and Ronan is some sort of big brother to him or something, but Ronan shows back up at the coffee house this week with that kid and gives the kid, Jamie is his name, back his wallet that Summer stole from him and returned to Ronan, I guess just to forge another connection between them. It's weird. I don't know what Summer is thinking. I like her. I really do. She's clearly got something up her sleeve, and she's dragging Fen along with her into it, and I don't know. I actually kind of like the new Summer now. I've gotten interested in her this past week. She's got personality. She's got a little something behind the eyes, and she's really pressuring Fen to get involved with this Jamie kid. She wants to be his friend. She thinks that if she befriends this kid, she's gonna get information on Ronan, I assume. I feel like Summer seems to detect that maybe that kid is Ronan's son. Is that even still possible? Is that still on the table? I don't know exactly what Summer is planning to find out by befriending this kid, but I want to know. It is crazy how long Paul's case has been dragged out. It has been a really long time since Paul killed Ricky, and it's been a lot of runaround for that entire time, and all I can say is the payoff on this had better be amazing, and it better be Ricky in the flesh standing at the end of this tunnel. That's how I want this whole thing to wrap up. Chris is going off to investigate the leads that Eden had in her little dream. She's going to go to Evanston to look in Ricky's apartment. She's going to go off to the West Coast to this family home of Isabella's, and I hope that she finds Ricky. That is the only thing that's going to make this a happy ending for me. I don't want her to find evidence of the video of Ricky killing his girlfriend. I want her to find Ricky. If Ricky is still alive, then Paul is off the hook for this whole thing, and then we also have Ricky back, who is an awesome character who we need on the show right now. We need a dark bird right now. We don't have that. But that's where I'm hoping it's going. Heather is going to, as we know, she's leaving the show. So she has gone off to help Chris on this hunt as well. She decides that she needs to take a leave of absence from being the ADA so that she can spend all of her time focusing on getting her dad cleared of these charges. And so she's gone off with Chris, and I'm thinking that that's probably the end of the character. I don't know if maybe she'll come back a little bit later for a quick guest spot or something like that, but for the most part, I think Heather has exited the scene, and I'm really surprised that she didn't have any kind of goodbye with Daniel. they've been building up Daniel and Heather for months, and they really did have a cute relationship, and now all of a sudden she's gone, no word from him, she said nothing to him, and where the heck is Daniel anyway? He's completely gone. I think they said he was leaving the show, but is he just gone now? I'm confused. I don't know, I'll have to do a little bit more research on that, but I don't know. I hope that this whole thing gets wrapped up soon. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of Paul's case, and I really, really wish that they were using this as an excuse to bring Nina back onto the scene more. I love Nina. She needs to be here, especially since Paul's in trouble and her son is on the scene. Nina should be here, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to me this week that Paul admitted to Lauren that he's still in love with Chris. Chris went off to try to help, to find this evidence, and Lauren said, "Hey, Paul, you've got that twinkle in your eye. Are you still having feelings for Chris?" And Paul admitted, he said, "You know what, when I'm with Chris, I feel like no time has passed, and I just feel good." He basically said he's still in love with Christine. Damn it! It makes me mad, and mostly because why does Nina always have to be the second banana to Chris? Now that Neil is the CEO of Jabot, he gets to assemble his team of people that he wants around him, and his first order of business was to hire Kane as his right hand, which I think is pretty awesome, considering Kane really wanted that job, and it was awkward that his father-in-law got it, but Kane, decided to accept the job, and I think Neil and Kane will work really well together, but Neil had something in mind for Lily, too, which I'm excited about. He decided to ask her to head up this guerrilla marketing team, something, I guess it's like marketing beyond social networking. It has something to do with trend setting, which I thought was a little different, it's something besides modeling. It would have been easy for him to say, "Hey, here's a modeling job at Jabot, I want you to do this." But instead it's doing something a little bit different. I felt bad that he sent her into that meeting blind. He was basically like, "I have a meeting that's set up in 10 minutes, why don't you go just take the meeting and see if it's something you're interested in?" So Lily goes into this meeting without any information. Lily has no experience in the business world. Nepotism at its finest. She goes in and I can only imagine this other team of people as she's like, okay, well, I don't know. I'm sure she didn't. I'm not saying Lily's stupid. I'm sure it caught her off guard. And I can only imagine the other people that have worked so hard to get where they are, only to have the new boss just bring in his daughter with no business experience. But I don't care. I felt bad for her in that moment, but I think it could be good for her. It's something different, and I want to see a different side of Lily. I think that she is smart, and I think she has total potential, and I would love to see Lily become the kind of girl that can have it all. She can have a successful business career, and she can have a family and kids, and she can work alongside her husband. She definitely had some reservations about working alongside Kane, but I think it could work out for them. I'd really, really like that to work out for them. Now, the sad part of the week, Neil is on cloud 9. He's got a new job, he's in charge, he's got his family all around him, he's got a sweet new girlfriend. Oh wait, not exactly. Because Harmony tracks him down and she tells him that she's leaving Genoa City because Anna needs her. Anna is I don't know, I think they said something about her grades or something, whatever. Anna needs Harmony, and Harmony has decided that she's gonna go be with Anna, and that she's probably not coming back. Damn it. I am. Of all of the exits, I think Harmony is the most disappointing one. I really do, because I think that, I don't know, she just had such a good personality, and I think she added a lot to the show. I was surprised at how well Neil took it, considering how hard he and Harmony fought to be together. And I'm surprised that Harmony wouldn't try to make it work. I mean, for a former junkie landing herself the CEO of a major company is a pretty good deal. She could at least try to keep the relationship going, but she doesn't seem to be. I don't know, I hope she comes. I hope that they leave the door open a little bit for her maybe to return at some point in the future, because I think that, wouldn't it be so cool to see a triangle between Harmony and Drew and Neil? That would be explosive, because both of those women are really strong personalities, and I think it'd be cool to see them working together, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. That might be wishful thinking. I guess that Harmony is just gone now. I guess that's just it. Like, she had a goodbye with Neil at the coffee house, no goodbye with Tucker or with Devon. She was on the show for over a year, and most of the time she was spent with her and her son. Most of the focus was on her relationship with Devon, and they didn't get a goodbye scene together. I'm sad that Harmony is leaving, and I just feel like one quick goodbye with Neil just did not do her justice. Okay, well, that takes me to the end for this week. I hope that you guys have enjoyed my vlog, and that you've enjoyed this week's show, and that you got to see all of it, and that you're all doing well and not overdosed on Halloween candy, because I think I gained at least 5 pounds this week just eating Halloween candy. Oh well, the diet will have to start next week. Well, it's your turn to leave me your comments about the show. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. I never want to take for granted how cool it is that I get to connect with other Y&R fans from other places, not even just around me, but people from all over the world. It's really cool to get your comments. So please feel free to use the text box below and leave me a comment to let me know what you're thinking about this week's show. Okay, that is it for me for this week, you guys. I love you, and I'll be back next Sunday to chat again about our favorite show. Okay, bye!